Hello everyone. I have come to a school here. It is very unfortunate that schools have been closed these days. All the students who are at home for longer period of time now want to go back to school as soon as possible. But I would like you to recall your memory, and I want to ask you, what were your feelings when you were going to school regularly? When you were going to school regularly, all you wanted was a holiday. You would find one or the other reason to skip the school. Teachers and parents find different reasons for children missing or skipping or bunking the schools. But we have not heard from the perspective of a school-going child why he or she doesn't want to go to school at all. Dear friends, I am going to read a poem to you today, The Schoolboy, written by William Blake. This poem is told from the point of view of a school-going child who finds reasons or justifies his stand for not going to school. Let us read the poem stanza by stanza and analyze that.
I am back to class from a school. Let us read the poem, The Schoolboy, written by William Blake. First stanza. I love to rise in a summer morn, when the birds sing on every tree. The distant huntsman winds his horn, and the skylark sings with me. Oh, what sweet company. The speaker in the poem is a young boy. He is very joyful. He loves to awake in the fresh and delightful summer morning. The boy describes the beauty of the summer morning. He likes the chirping birds on every tree. He loves the sound of a horn blown by a hunter from a distance. He is delighted because the skylark sings with him. All these things made his morning beautiful. But to go to school in a summer morning, oh, it drives all the joy away. But to go to school in a summer morning, oh, it drives all joy away. Under a cruel eye outworn, the little ones spend the day in sighing and dismay. But to go to school on a summer morning, it's a matter of time. The boy feels disappointed. He feels disappointed to attend the school in such a sweet morning, in such a sweet summer morning. He is tired. He's tired of the thought of a school. Even he is puzzled under the strict supervision of a teacher. The boy feels that he has spent his day in boredom. He would be spending his day in boredom in school. But to go to school on summer morning, it takes all the joy away. The little ones, the children in the school, sit disappointed. They sit in boredom, in sadness, in sighing and dismay. They express themselves in such a way, sighing, expressing tiredness, dismay, feeling of fear and discouragement. The children feel discouraged. Then at times I drooping sit and spend many an anxious hour. Nor in my book can I take delight, nor sit in learning's bower, worn through with a dreary shower, drooping, bending, or hanging down heavily, hanging your head down heavily. The child is exhausted. Then at times I drooping sit. I put my head down and I sit, exhausted, feeling exhausted. He sits unwillingly in the school. The boy doesn't find any delight in his textbooks. Nor in my book can I take delight, nor sit in a learning's bower. Here, learning's bower is used as a metaphor for school. Sitting in the school, worn through with the dreary shower, he feels the lectures, the lessons given to him are not so interesting. Worn through with a dreary shower, he feels they are meaningless. He feels bored. Then at times, that's the reason why he sits drooping his head down. He feels the school a place which is full of discouragement. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? The child asks further. The child asks further, how can a bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can a child, when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing and forget his youthful spring? The poet or the speaker compares himself to a bird. Here you can see, bird is compared to a child. The poet compares a child with a bird here, and in his opinion, a bird which is born joyful cannot sing sweet if it is caged. Similarly, a child, if remained in the environment which is annoying and fearful, will never be happy. Fears annoy. An environment which is annoying, which is fearful, it will not be conducive for a child to grow. So the word, full of discipline, will take away the beautiful spring, beautiful young days of a child. The child further says, O father and mother, if birds are nipped and blossoms blown away, and if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day by sorrow and care's dismay. The child is asking the highest authorities, the parents. The boy complains. If a budding child is picked out and destroyed at the early age by sorrow or by care or by dismay, one cannot have a fruit of it. If the buds are taken away from a sensitive plant, summer can never be joyful. So he is asking, O father and mother, if birds are nipped and blossoms blown away, at the early stage, if you take away the bird, what happens? You will not have a flower at all. If the birds are taken away from a sensitive plant, that particular plant cannot withstand any difficulties in summer time. Summer cannot be joyful for that particular bird. Similarly, for a child, the early childhood joys are taken away if they are taken away. that he would not have a beautiful adulthood, beautiful days later in his life. So he is saying, how shall the summer rise in joy, or the summer fruits appear, or how shall we gather what griefs destroy, or bless the mellowing year when the blast of winter appear? When the blast of winter appear, he is asking, if too much care and concern hamper the plant, if too much care and concern over flowers, birds, that will destroy it. Such a summer will be dry and it will not bear any fruit. The boy asked parents, how to win back what has been destroyed by pain or sadness? How shall we gather what griefs destroy? How can we win back what has been destroyed by sadness? Or bless the mellowing year when the blast of winter appear? If the childhood pleasures are restricted, adult life will be very dull and less enthusiastic. Mellowing year, the later stage in life, will be disappointed, will not be joyful, will not be energetic, because the birds and flowers are taken away, stripped off from a tree at the early age. How can that tree grow strong? Similarly, if all the joyful days or childhood pleasures are restricted or taken away from a child, how would he have a beautiful or strong adult life? That will be very dry, dull, less enthusiastic, isn't it? So the boy is asking, how shall the summer arise in joy, or the summer fruits appear? Is it possible? It is impossible to have summer fruits. If you have taken away the bird, if you have taken away the flower, it will not change itself into a seed or a fruit. Similarly, all the sadness that destroyed the early childhood would not allow the child to grow in happiness into adult life. That is the complaint that the boy is making here. I would be reading this poem once again with imageries, symbols, and along with that, I'll be analyzing this poem once again in the next video. This is a brief reading. Before we analyze or interpret the poem, it's important to know the poem itself. So let us meet in the next video and go through the poem once again in detail, analyze it, and answer the questions set on it. Thank you.